Cloud. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn webinar, How to Create an Unignorable Agency Story. We are here with my good friend, Peter Levitan, self-proclaimed agency whisperer, at least he has been for decades. Also a photographer, might do a little interpretive dance here and there. He is live from San Miguel. It's San Miguel de Caliente, Caliente, because it's hot there, right?
No, ain't
no?
Phoenix, baby.
All right. So it's one of the #1 places to retire in the entire planet. And he did it, what, almost 10 years ago? No, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
So be that as it may, I've known Peter Levitan for, I don't want to say 20, 25 years. He bought an agency, moved to Bend from back east. He'll tell his story, but long story short, I've known him for a long time. One of the most interesting men in the world. I think he was the original Dos Equis spokesman. That's what I'm thinking. And before we go into his genius, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what else we have planned, a little bit about Next Northwest and some upcoming events for those of you that might be coming to Next Northwest for the first time. So for starters, we are a nonprofit trade organization for the Pacific Northwest. We are all about networking, building your network, building your knowledge through learning events, and celebrating your work and our collective work, putting Portland's my old habit, the Pacific Northwest on the map globally for some of the best creative and talented marketers on the planet. And benefit is that your membership, which starts at $100 for the average human, less for students, more for corporate, gets you so much savings that you pretty much make money on this deal just becoming a member. See there for 27 cents a day, which is the cost of an oat milk upgrade. You can get these benefits. They pay for themselves. You can also sponsor and get in front of our 300 plus independent agency members with all kinds of great messaging and opportunities, sponsoring holes at our Northwest Open. We have our big networking event coming up.
Hey, Kent.
Yo.
Sorry to chime in here. I don't think anyone can see your slides.
You know what I'll do is, how about if I share my screen? After all the practice we did, such an idiot. How's that? Can we see it?
That's good.
All right, so just to prove that I have other slides, I'm just gonna go back real quick and show that start with that amazing branding. So you get the sense of Peter Levitan, live from Mexico. So thank you to our sponsor, Amazon Corporate, for sponsoring and underwriting our organization, which really wouldn't be possible without them. We are all about you. As I said, you can become a member, /join, go to the website, nextnorthwest.org. You can sponsor and get in front of agencies if you're a service provider. It's a great way to do that. Upcoming events. Next Tuesday or Wednesday, next Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. at Kiln in Portland, we have our annual rooftop party. This is where SEM PDX and Think Northwest came together to create Next Northwest, so peanut butter chocolate Reese's. And we're going to have maybe around 100 people there to network and get to know each other and have fun and celebrate on the rooftop at Kiln. It should be a great time. That's next Tuesday. And then our next webinar is September 9th at noon, and it's all about conversion optimization for your website and your ads. And this guy literally, Brian, wears a lab coat when he speaks. I've known him for almost 20 years. He is a top dog in conversion optimization. We have our golf classic in Portland here, September 26th. That's a Friday at Rose City. Buy a foursome, or for a little bit more, sponsor a hole and also get a foursome with that sponsorship. It is going to be a lot of fun. We've got 2 more webinars coming. We have a seminar coming up with Carl Sakis here in Portland, October 1st, and October 7th, we have a webinar. Just Carl was going to be in town, and I'd already booked this other webinar. So we've got a lot of agency whispers. These are the second and third best agency whispers behind Peter, just so you know. So attend these. And I include a link to the events page in the chat. So without further ado, let's give Peter the floor for the next 40, 45 minutes, how much time he needs to tell us about how to create an unignorable agency story. Take it away, Peter. Go ahead and share your screen, unlike I did the first time.
I will share my screen. Let me share. How about if I share my screen? I will do that. Let's see. Maybe we can go here. Look at that. Everybody can see it?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Looks good.
All right. So do I need to say who I am? Let me do it. I'm going to go backwards. I've decided to become an ethnologist, and the reason for that is I've spent my entire career in advertising studying people, and I just thought it would be a good idea for something to do next. It's very interesting with your background, how people zero in on something. I worked at Saatchi and Saatchi Advertising in the United States and in Europe for 16 years, and that is how people introduced me. Or the guy that worked at Saatchi. That is so long ago and so irrelevant, it's bizarre. I came to Oregon, bought an agency. We had 2 offices. We had great clients like Nike. Actually, was an AOR client, which was kind of special in the day of obviously projects. And blah, 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 blah. I got lucky or smart, moved to Mexico 10 years ago and have been consulting with agencies around the world. So I could say more, but I don't think you need to know really that much more about me other than I've been around the block and I'm still conscious. Okay? I'm not hearing anything. So I'm not sure I'm supposed to. So if there's anything wrong here, let me know. Okay, let's talk about this. What does unignorable mean? Unignorable means impossible to ignore. Okay, but let's get straight. It's 2025. And so in 2025, I think it's really critical to think about how you should act differently, how you get found, how you drive interest, and you stand out. And why is it crazy in 2024? Because if you start to think about what your prospective clients are thinking and how they're living their life, it's a little bit insane. All right. They are by the way, I'm talking very fast because I know you guys are all advertising people. So, you know, you're used to it. Clients today are overwhelmed, worried, and in a hurry. Look, anybody in advertising knows that every client that they talk to is in a hurry to get something done. These people are also very confused. All right. Why are they confused? I'll just give you one example. I was going to put a lot of these charts on one page, but basically you get the idea because we see every day, all of us see, whether it's on LinkedIn or some other platform, chatter about AI. And as we all know, you can completely get drowned in it. It's just one of the things that people are paying attention to. It's endless. I mean, we all know this. The barrage is incredible. Okay. Now, there's a barrage of information, and there's a nice study now by Agency Management Institution. It's worth seeing. It's a brand new study. That's Drew McClellan's group. What's the barrage? They say that clients receive incoming calls from agencies, or 36% of clients get incoming calls, whatever call means. You can define it the way you want, a week. All right. So there's a degree of insanity in terms of just general stuff coming at you, plus agencies coming at clients. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of outbound marketing, especially today when I have no idea if SEO works at all. Okay. But let me just say that I'm a fan of outbound. But if you're going to play in the outbound game, you better play it smart. All right. Why are clients confused? There are a billion, zillion advertising agencies, and these are just the types of agencies that exist. It's really is insane. We know this, so I'm not going to drive you guys crazy. A while back I did a little interesting search. I said branding agency Dallas. And this was Google. Google came back with it. This is impossible to believe, 61 million results. Okay. Got it? This is the world that people are living in. So it's really important to stand out. And standing out is not by being, and let me cut to a cartoon that I had in one of my books. You have to be distinctive. This was from a bunch of cartoons which said the things not to do. And as you can see on the bottom, the agencies all alike: Smithson, Peterman, and Goodski, and on the right, Goodson, Smithman, and Peters. This is what clients see. They see this wall of advertising agencies. But okay, so then you say to yourself, Well, I'm going to position my agency differently. I'm going to be really smart and, be an expert positioner. Well, this is the positioning, same game. I look at a lot of advertising agency websites, and I still look at websites because it's really the bottom line in terms of how people are going to get to know you. Probably not from your Instagram account, but I'll get back to that. So it's the same game. I mean, many of us are saying the same thing over and over. It sounds like the guy down the street, whether you're an individual creative person or a digital marketer or you're Wiley Kennedy, everybody sounds the same. All right. 6 paths to unignorability. It was interesting earlier. I was going to actually see if I named 6 things. We'll see together whether I got to the number 6. All right. Number 1, this is bizarre. Actually tell client types that you are different. Okay. I mean, I'm saying tell them, and you've only got a few seconds if your entry point is your website. So here's an example. This is an agency, I believe they're in Chicago, Warshawski. I can never pronounce their name very well. But notice in the lower left that they've got a clickable little graphic on their homepage that says 10 reasons we're different. I have never, other than these guys, seen an agency really point out that they're different. Click here to find out how. It's usually with advertising agency websites, just a barrage of words. I like that word, barrage. All right, I'm showing this because it just shows you if you can get into people's faces, if you can be unignorable, you'll grow. This is Erica Reitman, from LA, but she happens to live in Mexico City. A friend of mine in Mexico, an American. If you can, probably hard for you to read, but basically she says, your business is boring as fuck. I fix that. Okay, that's her message. You are boring. I fix it. She has 35,000 followers on Instagram. I recommend going to just see her because she is in your face, right? She knows how to use the word fuck to get attention, but to use it as a vehicle for growing businesses. Okay, this is one that I find absolutely bizarre. Only you own you. Okay. Again, I look at many, many, many websites and they all sound alike. But the bottom line is if you can put yourself up front and give them only you personality, you win. So I grew up in the world of Ogilvy, Morrison Charles Saatchi, who I had the very weird pleasure of working directly for in London. And what's that? Dave Droga on the right. Do you remember when agencies were driven by personalities? I do. Well, guess what? Look at this personality. Vayner Media, we all know this guy. I'm looking, what's the number there? 270,000 followers on Instagram. Why? Because he's put himself in front. Okay, Gary put himself in front. It's a side note, I used to buy wine from him in New Jersey when he had, I guess maybe his family still has a wine shop. So the guy's been a hustler. But I do not understand why more advertising agencies don't try to copy what he does. Okay, I mean, it's just bizarre to me. All right, Instagram. I mean, just to give you an example of the power of personality. He has 11 million followers on Instagram, and the agency who no one can ever remember their name, VMLYR, has 46,000. Okay, this is just I'm using this as an example. Here is a dude that built an agency, probably in the past 10 plus years, who's kicking ass of whatever this VMLYR, Young and Rubicam is. Okay, why is he doing it? Because he's putting himself out front. So I was thinking about who's pretty good at this today in the advertising business, and Mischief in New York is pretty good. And this is Greg Hahn, who's a creative director, sort of a maniac. type guy, very smart, and they have 34,000 followers on LinkedIn. How many do you have? Just keep it going. I don't know if you know who Ann Handley is, but she talks about writing books. And again, I just want to point out that one person can kick the ass of a big agency. She has close to 500,000 followers on LinkedIn, and McCann, New York, I didn't, I have to admit, is McCann even alive? Has 115,000. And I'm showing these people like an Ann Handley. So maybe you go look and see how she talks and looks and sounds and drives her business. But this is one person. All right, here's another one that, again, sort of blows my mind. Advertising agencies don't seem to use video. I'll come back to this a little later in a little more detail, but I am hard pressed to find an advertising agency website that opens with a video that isn't a client reel, which I have to tell you is boring. So, what can I say? Now, let's go back to Gary. This is the video on the front page of the VaynerMedia website. He talks about how to build a brand in 7 minutes. This is compelling to clients for a whole bunch of reasons. I suggest that maybe you all think about finding someone or a couple of people in the agency that are photogenic and are strategic and putting them in a video. Just open the friggin' website with a video. Nobody wants to read all that yada, 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 incredibly well designed by your creative director, but not oriented towards sales. Please put a personal video up on the front page of your website. Tell the client what you're about. As a side note, and I'm not going to get into this here, why don't you tell clients what your process is? Because that's one of the problems that they have is that, oh, I don't know, can I work with an agency? Do I want to work with this agency? What's their process? How does that work? You can even be educational. It doesn't have to be about you. Just talk about process in general. All right, your website. Again, I've already said the sameness sucks. LinkedIn sucks. Instagram sucks. It's just hard to believe that marketing companies like yours, like your friends, like the other thousands down the street, are not, other than frankly through design, cute designs, trying to get past sameness. All right, this is what clients see. This is just a page showing multiple advertising agencies' front doors. If you're a client and this is what you're confronted with, it's again, I'll go back, it's just a barrage. I'll talk about myself for a second. I have a couple of videos up on my website. This is a few years ago. I had Mahatma Gandhi, or at least an Indian actor, talk about me and how wonderful I am and how everyone should work with me. My point here is, I'll go backwards, is I'm trying to get past that to doing something different. Mahatma Gandhi. I happen to have been in India, and I came home and I thought, all right, let's see if I can find an actor who can do this. Here's another example of something my agency did. Man, this is 20 years ago. We were breaking into the San Francisco market, and at the same time we were breaking into San Francisco, the donut company, I'm blanking on their name, and the big donut company with the glazed donuts, started doing business in San Francisco. We sent a box of donuts to agencies, and with essentially a QR code so they could enter a contest to win stock. Right? We tried to make them an offer they couldn't refuse. This is one of the kind of cooler, Krispy Kreme, one of the cooler things that we did. What's my point here? It was different. It tried to break through the clutter. All right, here's an example of websites. Fortunately, these guys have changed, but years ago, there were 2 brand new agencies in San Francisco, Argonaut and Barrett. And what I thought was fascinating about them was that they were both selling in the idea of San Francisco. I mean, this is not very distinctive. Showing me not the Golden Gate, but another bridge. And I don't know, I just looked at this and I said, you guys have to be kidding. Is this the best differentiated message that you can deliver? Again, they both got over it, but I've been using it as an example of sameness. Here's something that years ago absolutely blew my mind. And again, just somebody, please steal this idea. Boone Oakley built their homepage for their website on YouTube. Okay, YouTube. They didn't screw around with a website. This got huge audience. Well, oh, lower right-hand corner. This is a while back, so it might even be born now. And well, I'm not even sure if they're in the business. 1.4 million views for an advertising agency's homepage on YouTube. Come on, people. Okay. But the winner is John Street, which was an agency, I guess they're still there in Canada, was bought by WPP. They really got good at videos. If you haven't seen it, you should go see their cat advertising videos. Today, close to 3 million views. But they have other videos that they did. Their videos they told me this, captured the attention of brands like P&G. And because they were so good at building out their brand, really knowing how to use YouTube, they were bought by WPP. All right, another one. Be insightful and valuable. Clients want fresh, useful, and irresistible thinking. Research, please, some agency, do your own research. Let's say your category, and I'll get to it in a second, is healthcare. Do some healthcare research that future healthcare clients cannot ignore. Be unignorable by delivering research that they have to read. It's relatively easy to do research in a niche, and niches are important, right? We know this. I'm not going to belabor some of the things you already know, but again, brand new study from AMI, most clients give agencies with a niche advantage over those without. Now, a niche. A niche could be that you're a healthcare agency. A niche could be that you're maybe not as interesting today as it was a few years ago, a mobile advertising agency, but you know where I'm going. All right. I also have talked for a long time in my life about stealing stuff. I was going to put in a picture of Rory Sutherland, and if you don't know who he is, you should. Rory Sutherland. He's a chunky strategic Brit who's all over the place. He's on YouTube, he's on TikTok. I was going to suggest that you just look at a lot of what he talks about and steal some of his ideas. All right, but in respect to stealing, a while back, I found this study called the L2 Digital IQ Index, and it was targeted at the luxury market. And at the time, I didn't know who this guy was, lower left-hand corner, Scott Galloway, who now is one of the top business podcasters in the world. At that time, he was a professor. He still is a professor at NYU. They did a study, and this is early days of social, where they compared luxury brands to each other in respect to how they use social media. It was impossible for, Gucci to not want to see what their competitors were doing and vice versa. So highly effective, and it got his company business. Did I think it was a good idea? Yes. So my agency, Citrus, stole this idea of doing research in a category, in this case, comparing social media usage between brands. We did it for the healthcare industry, and it won us business, including 5 states worth of Providence business. And those are in our good old days. What I did was I hired an intern, paid them. I believe in paying interns, hired an intern, and just compiled numbers on which healthcare organization did what in respect to social media. It was, I'll say, I think, must reading in the industry. It took not a lot of bucks and not a lot of time. All right, video works. I mentioned video earlier. Again, I'm blown away that advertising agencies haven't figured out that video works. People don't want to read all the stuff that you write. Now, why is video important? For one of the books I wrote, I interviewed, I think, about 20 advertising agency search consultants. One of them is Avidan, and he said, quote, practically every consultant or 96% of the sample pointed to chemistry as the key factor for winning new business. Okay? Chemistry, that means people to people chemistry. Add some other numbers. How do clients access a new agency? They want an in-person meeting. Well, today, given geographic dispersion, I could suggest that, maybe it's Zoom as well. But I also think, why not get ahead on the chemistry game ahead of time and have some agency videos that are compelling personal document/information in video form? Okay. What I just talked about, let me go back for a second. I could talk about chemistry for an hour. It's amazing how agencies just haven't figured out how important the people-to-people side is. You could argue that point, but I'm just using my experience. People-to-people work. How you present yourself online, how you manage a Zoom conference, what you do in the room when you finally get there. How do you lean in? It's like I always metaphorically think of dating. It's a date. You want to hear them talk. You want them to talk about themselves. That's how chemistry works. All right. Awards are probably obvious, but there's an art to winning awards. I got really good at winning Effie awards when I was at Saatchi. I just figured out, or I in the group, right? There were only, 10,000 of us, figured out how to write an Effie submission. Awards are unignorable, and clients need a third party to tell them that everything's cool. So I'm going to use this one as, by the way, I'm near the end here. You guys are lucky. This is a couple of years ago. Supernatural was an agency that won like Small Agency of the Universe award. But what amazed me, this is 2 or 3 years ago, was that they were early into figuring out AI. Okay. Where were most of the other advertising agencies in the universe in grabbing the AI platform and becoming an expert and sounding like an expert and helping potential clients understand AI? Side note, you can still do this. We're still in the early days. Again, I look at lots of agency websites. I'm not sure I see 1 out of 20, 30, 40, 50 that actually mention AI on the front page. Very bizarre to me. Okay. I think it's also important that you surprise prospects. So a while back, I used Cameo, which I'm not even sure if it's still around. It might be. Cameo's where you could hire a movie star to do a video for you, or you could hire, as my Gandhi on the left, and another one of my impersonators on the right. I had Gandhi and Donald Trump telling the world that I was wonderful. Now, Donald Trump, today people might look at this and go, what are you doing, Peter? But what this Donald Trump guy said was that, speaking as Donald Trump, I'm a genius. I know more about everything than anybody. I'm the best scientist in the world. I'm the smartest economist in the world. But when it comes to advertising, you have to use Peter Levitan. Okay. I believe that those videos were surprising. Again, I showed you the donuts. Most people don't get donuts in the morning. Okay, so the idea of surprising to me is important. It's a strategic question. Have you done anything surprising lately? All right, I'm going to give away a free idea today. I always have I've had these ideas for years that I frankly, in this case, I haven't, I haven't convinced any agency to do this. Could you imagine going to an agency website and the first thing you see is a video of a comic doing ad agency jokes? Okay. For those of you who remember comedy from 100 years ago, take my agency, please. What would you have to lose about looking distinctive and being funny and sounding strategic and having your stand-up person do the right comedy that hits to the emotional needs of a potential client? This is my gift to you, advertising agency stand-up comedy video. All right, what's the bottom line? Aim to be unignorable or consider the alternative. How? Be smarter, be more distinctive, be a bit assertive and groovier than the other 40,000 marketing agencies in the world. Get past sameness. Okay. This is how people find me, how people communicate with me. And since I'm talking to people on the West Coast of the United States, I live at 6,000. I live like a place like Bend, Oregon, except it's in Mexico, a colonial town in the middle of the country. I need you to send me some halibut. If you want, please do that for me. Thank you. That's it, folks.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was fantastic. I would love to open it up to Q&A. If you have a burning question, you can enter it in the chat. And if you don't have a good question, then keep it to yourself. But let me ask you, Peter, at your time at Saatchi or elsewhere, would love to know, just regale this group with a story. I particularly love your how to be unignorable and win, I think it was an airline account in South Korea.
Okay.
If you can tell that story, and then we'll have a question from a couple questions from the audience.
So I'm sitting in London. I'm running business development for Saatchi globally. And I had airline accounts, Northwest Airlines and British Airways. So I was an airline guy. And Northwest said to us, and again, we had these maps with all these dots everywhere that Saatchi had an office, right? I mean, it was insane. Maybe in the days that mattered. It matters obviously a little less today. Okay. So Northwest Airlines contacts me and they say, do you have an agency in South Korea? And I say, sure. All right. Do you have an agency in Seoul? Sure. I get off the phone. I talk to someone. They go, yeah, we bought an agency 6 months ago. It's in Seoul. All right. Again, make a long story short, I booked a meeting with Northwest Airlines. I fly to Seoul. I walk into the agency. There are 6 people. I'm like, all right, this doesn't look good. I said to the 6 members of the Korean agency, okay, here's what's going to happen. They happened to have an elevator. So when the client came in, they met the 6 or 10 people there were. When I got in the elevator with the client, the 6 and 10 people ran up to the 2nd floor. So to the client, we had at least 20 people. All right. So it often comes down to your ability to creatively bullshit.
There you go. Creative bullshit.
By the way, side note, I took this out. If anyone wants to read a really good 4,000 word memoir, and the timing on this is good. This is what it's called. Let me see if you can see it. To Tell the Truth, or even better, How to Lie. So I wrote this. It starts out basically about me lying on television show and winning all the votes, but it ends with my lying on LinkedIn. So if somebody wants, send me an email. I'll send you this memoir, which combines LSD, TV show, Puerto Vallarta, and LinkedIn.
It's good. Should they contact through your website, or you want to put an email in the chat?
Well, it's on the last slide, but no, I don't do chat in Zoom, but it's Peter. It's peter@peterlevitan.com. And if you say to me, send me that memoir because I want to hear how you lied on LinkedIn, I'll do that.
Okay, well, it is in the chat for those that use chat. They can email you and request a copy.
All right,
Two
cool.
quick questions from our some of our attendees. One, are video case studies useful? We know case studies often can help. Sometimes we hope, but what about video case studies versus other formats?
I am a very big fan of case studies. This, it's very important to a prospective client if they hear someone else talk. I'll say something that we all know. Amazon reviews drive sales, period. I'm not sure that anyone watching this right now could say that they bought a product from Amazon without reading some reviews. All right. So third-party reviews are critical. So having clients, having a case study is critical. Now, I've seen great case studies and I've been bored to death. So different ways to do it, but whatever you do, I think you really have to think about that it's video art and how are you going to get the word out. But having Bob from Bob Johnson's Chevrolet in Ballard yap for 10 minutes about how much he likes Kent is not going to do it for you. So you really got to be creative about this.
Yeah, he's a really good man, and I'm offended that you didn't think his testimonial was good enough. Ballard is also an amazing neighborhood if you haven't been there. Clearly Peter has. Second question, are the majority of ad agencies still AI adverse, or do you think that's changing? What's been your anecdotal thoughts on that? And I'll have a follow-on on that.
Well, I can't, frankly, I can't, the answer is every agency is into it and looking at it. And it's really, I'm not sure that, I think is it called the AI Marketing Institute? I don't know if you guys know that. Are they out of Seattle? No, they're out of Indiana. AI Marketing Institute, one of the absolute smartest bunch of people in respect to AI training. All right, the bottom line is it is still very much early days. I think using AI for production, not to make ads, but to as a management tool, as a yada yada tool is great. Do agencies get it? Not yet. Does anyone get it? Go to the Agency Management Institute, I think, I'm to the AI Management Institute, and you will determine whether you're as smart as these guys.
I'm going to include a link to a place because I know there's AIM that's more of a marketing institute. It's by that one guy. I have his email, but this is the Marketing AI Institute, Artificial Intelligence for Marketing. We'll see if that's of interest. That's in the chat. I'll just add my anecdotal 2 cents. I think, Peter, you're right. As much as I think the more traditional the agency, the more likely they are averse to rapidly embracing AI. But every agency I know is using it. I'd say if there's a scale of, keeping it simple, 1 to 5, 1 is I know what it is. And then maybe independently, people are using it in the company they don't even know. And a 5 is we have a completely integrated AI stack in our processes, and we've grown our company with only bots and not headcount. Like that's probably less than 5% of agencies. But I think most are at a 3 where they're instituting rules, different technologies. They're thinking about things like compliance, but they're not there yet. They've automated only rudimentary elements, not the more powerful elements of what you can do. They're still arguing with the creatives whether or not you can rip AI ideas off the internet or not, if it's visual, copyright issues. So I think it's still a couple of years from me finding agencies that get it. I do have a friend, Deepak, whose recording is on our YouTube channel, talk about how his agency used AI. He's been using it for 2 years plus, and is a black belt in building scripts for his sales team, automating processes on the back end for service and reporting, building bots to help service his clients. Pro Lemon is a gold standard of what AI can do, and his team is completely virtual all over the world. He's doing it exactly the best I've ever seen it. So check out Pro Lemon and his recording from a couple months ago. Peter, 1 or 2 more questions. What is something an agency should not put on their website? I love that question. Thank you, Sam.
I'm not sure, well, that's a very interesting question. This is coming in from like, the, what I call the Abundanza School of Marketing, which is I'm going to tell you everything I possibly can in case something is of interest, right? I mean, again, a lot of websites, just have to really, so what not to put it? I'll keep it simple. Don't put too much. Unless you think you can somehow get somebody from here to here to here, it's not that easy. Get to the point. That's my what you shouldn't have on your website. By the way, some of you may remember the great cover for the Harvard, what's it called? The Harvard Review. It wasn't the Harvard
Business Review?
No, it wasn't the business one. It was a comedy publication. They had a dog with a gun, and they said, "If you don't buy this magazine, I'm going to kill this dog."
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway, my point there is don't kill dogs. Like what's her name, the secretary of whatever that's just gotten. Yeah. Okay, her.
Yeah.
Um, do something different. And agencies worry, well, if I do something too different, a lot of people are not going to like me. Well, everyone's not going to like you. And maybe the kind of client you want is the one that will, Harvard Lampoon, thank you. It's one of the best covers ever in the I was in the magazine business. That no one had ever seen a cover that good. We'll kill this dog unless you buy this issue. My point there is just, it's okay to kick ass. I mentioned Erica up front, my friend in Mexico City who runs a global marketing company. Basically, she says, your business is fucking boring. That's her message. And I can help.
Simple. I love it. Now, Sam had a follow-on question. Do brands really care about being data-driven, or is that just table stakes and not a differentiator from an agency perspective?
I think that is absolutely table stakes. Look, if you can, I'll allow me to tell a quick little story. So I was at Saatchi & Saatchi. I was asked by Condé Nast to put their newspapers online. So this was early, 95, putting newspapers online. So let's just say that was pretty early. And I went to see the guy that ran media for Saatchi & Saatchi, an old friend of mine. And so big, giant agency office in New York, sitting there. He says, so what are you doing? I said, we're putting news online. He said, great. And I said, the really great thing about that is when you run your ads on my website, I can tell you if anybody looked at them and clicked on them or not. And he looked at me and he said, why would I want that? That's going to like screw with my business, which it has, by the way, since 95, it has totally screwed with the advertising industry. Yes, if you can tell a client that their ad worked, that helps. That's to me all what data is. I mean, who's looking at what I'm doing and do they care?
Okay, very helpful. Thank you. And I guess I'd say we're going to wrap up here. If I could ask you one last question is, where do you see the future of agencies going? And let's keep it to 5 years. If you factor in, the economy, the administration, tariffs may not be relevant, AI. I have my own opinion on where the economy or where the future of agency is going. But, what is your take based on your 40 years of directionality and
All right,
experience?
wait, time out. I'm not going to let you get away with that. What do you think is going to happen?
I would just say I would hate to work at a large agency.
Yeah.
That's mainly it.
I'll tell you what, if you want to feel sad, look at r/advertising or r/advertising agency on Reddit and read those stories. The person trying to find a job, the person who was let go when they're 45, the person that thinks WPP sucks, and maybe Publicis actually has its act together. To me, many cases on a lot of subjects, Reddit, while it can be total nonsense, is an interesting litmus test. Where agencies going, I see no reason for these multinationals generally don't make that much sense anymore, especially when you can ask AI what does a businessman in Seoul, Korea look for in a business flight from Seoul to Los Angeles? I mean, I don't need that agency in Seoul helping me figure that out if I'm based in Seattle.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I did add our agency subreddit to this chat. So I know you'll never see it, Peter, but you've already seen the link. You already seen it, so we're good.
By the way, just as a side note, not me, my company invented chatbots. So when you say I don't use chat, I don't anymore because I OD'd on chat.
Yeah, kind of like I don't drink tequila anymore since Mazatlan. I totally get it. Same thing.
All right.
So, Peter, it looks like we went through our questions and you've answered every question that any agency person would ever want to know about how to be unignorable. I want to thank you for your time and know that we have a link to Peter's website and his email, peterlevitan.com, and check out his writings. He's written a few books. Some are not related to the agency world and are quite fascinating. And he is available as a consultant, even though he's really moving towards his professional photography career, much like our friend Beast Mode up in Seattle. Marshawn Lynch is now a accredited photographer on the sidelines at football games. So
Good.
anything's possible, Peter. Maybe we'll see you on the sidelines at some point, on the sideline of an agency taking photos as they wonder how to get their next job. So hopefully you all have found some value in this. I know I have. It's always a pleasure, Peter. We will get this video posted to YouTube in the near future, in the next week or so. And our next webinar is on the 9th. September with Brian Massey, and we'll hope to see you on the 20th if you're anywhere near Portland at Kiln for our rooftop party. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you soon. Appreciate you all. Thank you, Peter. Be well.
Power to the people. Power. All right.